Hey there, welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, where no, I am not the ugly. This is where I'm taking books that I think have ugly covers, and I'm reviewing them to see if I can find some hidden gems. So we're going to talk about the good and the bad, and especially the ugly, because look at this cover. You know, as a first entry into this series, it's not that bad. Honestly, no. I've seen worse. But I was browsing Kindle in, like the dollar deal sections, and boom, this guy was here. Two things caught my eye. First off, I don't know about you guys, but I've always been an anti-fan, a hater, of having real faces on covers. And now we got a big blue one. I think it's blue, I don't actually have it in front of me, because again, it's on my Kindle. And also, I didn't like the contrasting elements, because, we've seen fire and water on book covers, fire and ice, and it always looks pretty. But ice and sand just looks weird. I mean, it makes sense. One's cold, one's hot. Also, did you know technically Antarctica's a desert? It makes sense. But is it aesthetically pleasing? No. Much like my eye makeup right now. But after spending like $1.99 on this thing, I'm pleased to say it was pleasantly cute. Maggie, pleasantly cute like this puppy right here. Everybody, this is Maggie. I'm dog sitting, so she's my co-host. So Followed by Frost is written by the same author that wrote The Paper Magician. Y'all might have read that. I have it and I'm gonna read it because it sounds cool. It's got like flesh magic in it, which is weird because I don't like the word flesh. That's like my equivalent to moist. So Followed by Frost, it's very predictable but still a very cute book. I gave it a 3 out of 5. And this book is basically Frozen, but if our main character started out awful from the start. Maggie, you're biting my hand. Calm down. Oh, kisses. So this book starts out with this awful little snot named Smitha. Smitha means smiling, I think, but we ain't smiling around Smitha because she's a little snot-nosed brat. Rich, spoiled, and sadly she's gorgeous, so she's got an ego. No germs. No germs, please. Smitha, she knows she's hot stuff. She's walking around her little village. She's like, oh my gosh, all the boys love me. And I don't care what they think. I take their kisses and I just walk off. But there's this new guy in town. I think his name is Morin, but I always call him Morgan in my brain, so I'm just gonna keep calling him Morgan. Morgan, he's new in town, but everybody likes him. He's sweet. And, he's a little sweet on Smitha. I mean, he hasn't gotten to know her awful personality yet, so he's just trying by her looks. Like, hi, how you doing? Oh, would you like to go on a little date later, please? And Smitha, little brat, she's like, oh yeah, sure, let's go on a date. Wink, wink. Maggie, can you wink? Wink. Oh, I'm sorry. She's like, yeah, let's go on a date. Meet me by the docks tonight, and I'll see you there, big boy. She doesn't. She ditches him. Doesn't even show up. Stands him up. Meanie Bo Beanie. So the next day, Smitha's doing her little farm work, whatever she does. I'm surprised she has chores, because the little manual labor is clearly not helping her with her attitude problem. And so Morgan shows up, and he's a little peeved. Justifiably so. He's like, hey, did you forget? We had a date last night. And Smitha, she just tears him a new one. Like, boy, how dare you even think? How do you even speak to me? Like I am at the same level as you. Why would you even think you had a chance of me coming to the docks with you? You smell like bat guano. You're ugly, and you should just drown yourself. I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what she's putting down. And Morgan's like, excuse me? So apparently, because the world building and fantasy setup isn't really good in this world, I mean, it does that soft world building thing that I see in most short fantasy books where it name drops like 1 billion cities and kingdoms and villages right at the beginning and doesn't talk about them ever again. So apparently in this fantasy world, we have wizards! And most countries don't like wizards, so they keep themselves hush-hush. And Morgan is apparently a wizard, and he's been on the run for some reason, which we never find out why. That makes me really sad. So Morgan, he's like, oh my gosh, how dare you spurn my advances? I'm gonna curse you for 1,000 years. Not 1,000 years, just until she dies. He's like, you're an ice queen. Your heart is as cold as ice. And because your heart's as cold as ice, I'm cursing the rest of you to be as cold as ice for as long as you live. So he does this wiggly finger stuff. You're cursed. And so he vanishes in a puff of smoke. And did I say smoke? He vanishes in a puff of smoke. And Smith is like, what the heck was that? But then she starts to get a little cold. Yeah, can you believe that? She's freezing now. She deserved it. Her hair starts to get all brittle and turn icy white. Her fingers start to crack because they're so stiff from the frostbite taking her over. The storm clouds are gathering, a blizzard coalesces around her no matter where she goes. She runs back home. Her parents and her sister are startled to find her this way, cursed and wretched. She can't sleep because of the aching chill that never abstains. She can thrust her hands right into a fire and it doesn't burn her because she's just too cool to cool down, too chill to burn, stuff like that. And she's in one spot, so that blizzard is blizzarding all around her village. It's killing their crops. It's the middle of August or something like that. Hey, guess what? Children are dying because they got the pneumonias. So the town has a little meeting like, yeah, we need to kick her out of here. So she's banished. And so our pampered Princess Smitha is now excommunicated, forced out into the wilderness to fight, live, or die by her own whims. Girl who's never made any decisions on her own before, she had everything else handled for her, now has to learn how to make a fire. I say that's justice. I really did not like her from the beginning. She was so annoying. But this book did have some good character growth, and she gets much, much better as the book goes on. She starts off as a person who's like, oh my gosh, you're giving me bonbons that aren't raspberry jam filled. Take it away, you peasant. And she becomes a person who's like, you're giving me mittens? Oh my gosh, I love you. She becomes much sweeter, and I like it. So the first thing that irked me about this book is that the villagers are dumb. So Smitha's little blizzard only has like a radius of 1 mile. So she doesn't have to go off into the mountains to another continent. She just needs to move a little bit away from the village to a place where there's no buildings. Because think about it. If you're a village and you get a little bit of a drought, but hey, a couple miles down the road, you have this perfect patch of constant snow. You take some buckets of snow, melt it in water, feed the plants, water the plants. No, they're dumb and superstitious. Also, think of the tourism, man. Think of all the people who will come and pay to play in the snow. Bunch of dum-dums in this book. But no, she's cursed. She has to go off. So Smitha, she's struggling in the woods. She's walking. Oh my gosh, she's walking so much her shoes fall off. Walking. She's bleeding, cracks in her foot, but the blood freezes on her feet, so that's pleasant. And she is just so constantly close to death that, oh my gosh, she's attracted the Grim Reaper, who's cute. I like him. He's not really the Grim Reaper, he's literally Death. I just didn't feel like saying Death twice in one sentence. That's the writer in me. So Death shows up and he's like, hey baby, you come be the queen of my kingdom. I take real good care of you. I'll make it so you're constantly warm by the fires of hell. And our girl Smith is like, no thanks. Give me your number. Maybe if I'm a little desperate, then yeah, I'll give you a ring. But no, not now. A boy don't take no for an answer. He keeps following her like, baby, come to the dark side. So it's like, no, you freak. So Smitha is constantly moving because even though, like I said, she's constantly moving, people somehow know that her little mobile blizzard is supernatural, so they're constantly hunting after her for some reason. I mean, people, just let the girl go. She's not even going to your house. Why are people so scared of snow? But eventually, a desert kingdom has the smarts that none of the other villagers obviously don't have. And he's currently experiencing a drought in his lands, so he's like, I have heard tales of this ice witch. Let us go find her, bring her back, so she can make the desert snow and we'll have some water. Smart plan, but you bank in a lot of trust and resources in your own people's lives. Hunting down like a superstition, a legend, a myth. But anyways, hey, pays off, they find her. And they're like, lady, please. Maggie, don't fall off the couch, good gosh. Like, lady, will you please come to our kingdom? Our people, they're thirsty. You give us the good snow. And this is the first time she's really talked to people in a long time, besides people yelling at her to die and stuff like that. So she's like, okay. They give her some blankets, they put her on a horse and they bundle her up so she won't freeze the horse to death. They give her poor feet a break and they take her to the desert kingdom. And it's at this kingdom where our girl is given a chance to live life again, live it right, selflessly. She gets to make friendships that aren't based on the superficial aspects of her past life, just by making friends because of her good looks. Now she's making friends because she's a good person. She's helping the needy. She's selflessly giving up all the gifts the prince gives her, for saving his people's lives, and she's giving it to the needy and stuff like that. We also, because I was really confused about who the love interest in this book is going to be, would it be Morgan coming back just to see how his curse is doing? No. Saddest part of this book is we never ever see Morgan again. I don't know where he is. I don't know what he's doing with all the wizard people. The wizards are never talked about in this book again. Never explained. So again, world building in this book, not that great. I miss Morgan. Death is a little cheeky. You know what he is. Sometimes I was like, yes, Death, yeah. Other times like, boy, get your hand off her. Then I thought the prince, who was chasing after Smitha to get her to come back to his desert land, I thought he was going to be the love interest. Then we had another character showed up, and it started to blossom between those two, and it was actually very nice. A standoffish kind of haters the lovers kind of thing. It was fantastico there. Nice and sweet. I had a bad reading month when I was reading this book, and even though this is just a 3 out of 5, which is meh to me, it was still the best thing I read this month. It was cute. It had a very basic plot, basic little meaning, you know, be nice, don't be shallow. Kind of like a mixture, literally, of Beauty and the Beast and Frozen. Basically has the same resolution of Frozen too. If you want a book that's as light as a snowflake, it's this book. It's cute. Again, the biggest issue of this book is the lack of world building, because we're in this desert land, then it's like introduced towards the end of the book that, oh, we're actually at war with this other desert land, and they're sending assassins towards us. And that turns into a bigger issue towards the end of the book, but it's not like it was built up or anything. And also, even though there's definitely character growth for Smitha going from a snob to basically a good Samaritan, it's still like is there such thing as a shallow good Samaritan? Basically, she just personifies goodness now without any grace to make her a real human. She's too nice now. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Again, the romance was very good when the guy finally showed up. I especially loved reading their friendship parts before they started like thinking about each other romantically, the ways they would help each other out and kind of improve each other to like make the other person improve, challenging them in a good way. And so that's the good, the bad, and the ugly in this book. Yeah, it was enjoyable. Recommend it for a nice light read. Maybe for your little sister who wants something Frozen-esque. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, stay ready, my friends.